guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom, the official podcast for ProjectFandom.com. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm John.
And we are back to discuss Hawkeye, and we're going to be talking about 2 episodes, and yes, Donnie watched them both, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to be talking about...
Right?
I don't know, John. Right as I said it, I was like, you're being a smart ass, but it's going to be real funny if this man tells you.
So I am curious to see, because I told Nina, I said after we watched Spider-Man, I said I think that last episode of Hawkeye would have played better after Spider-Man.
You're wrong.
But John watched it after, so I'm just curious how it came.
Oh yeah, but he can't say the details because we cannot spoil Spider-Man in this podcast because we don't know who's seen it, and it's not even been a week, so that would be a dick move. But yeah, John, you did view it the way Donnie thought would be better. Mm-hmm. Considering the reveals that are both at the end of episode 5 of Hawkeye and it's something that happens in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll say Far From Home. So you watched it in the order Donnie said would be better. Was it?
I mean, I can't know if it was better.
Well, not better, but like, was it?
It was good. I will say, I think I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I would say I absolutely thought of that when I was watching Hawkeye. Because I was like, oh, well, then this is definitely going to happen.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Just like once one of those things happens, you're like, oh, well, the other one absolutely.
Yes, it has to be.
Yes, that was my thought. Like, because of all the news and stuff, I was like, yes, I expected it in Spider-Man.
I didn't, though. See, that's what I'm saying. I think the difference... because for me, I think... And again, I don't know why they do what they do, but the way they did it, I think, is better and works because just narratively, like telling the story, I think, without being too spoilery, I think what we're talking about in Hawkeye was so obvious. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Even if there wasn't the internet and speculation, it just felt like knowing the universe, like who could this be, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like, though it was still a nice reveal at the end of episode 5 and it was exciting and all of that, it's like, it was more like confirming what we wanted and what we already thought. And so it was like, yeah, that type of thing, And I think you get that out of the way, but that doesn't, with Spider-Man, there was no guarantee, if that makes sense. And if you're not someone who is watching trailers and looking for spoilers, because I know some people do, and there's, if that's your bag, okay.
Yeah, but that was totally spoiled. Like, I knew that going into the movie.
Oh, that's the thing. I think that's a bigger thing because whereas this was a little uncertain, it was kind of like, come on, who else could it be? But when you're talking about with Spider-Man, all of that was just basically, up for grabs, you get what I mean? So like, I don't know. I liked the way it played because I was not, none of that was on my radar when I went to see Spider-Man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking about, the things that happened in Hawkeye, maybe we'll have some relation to this. I was not even, when I saw what I saw, I was like, and so that reveal didn't ruin it for me. If that makes sense. Like, I didn't leave Hawkeye thinking, now this means these things are going to happen.
Oh, I see. So that's interesting because, like, that's what I think. Maybe it's a little bit still, even though we know that the TV shows, especially like these Disney Plus TV shows, mm-hmm. and the movies are so connected. We know that, mm-hmm. Maybe it's still just a little bit of a TV bias.
No, for me, I can say that it's not that. You know what it is? I tell you what it is. It wasn't until after the movie that I started reading things, and then I saw that people were like, "Oh yeah, apparently there was like a photo leaks." Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about that, so that's what I'm saying. I think if you are, if you've purposely not been engaging in that stuff, or if you're just lucky, like to kind of just have that shit just go over your head and not be aware of that stuff, it was just a really nice surprise that I don't think anything that happened in Hawkeye necessarily said to me, oh, then they're going to do this for sure. And definitely not, oh, they're going to do this in this movie, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know, I had no reason to think that anything would move that fast for me because I wasn't following that stuff. So I think it's not like a bias, like, you know, and we've talked about that, right? When we talk about these other, the other Disney Marvel shows that we've covered, that it feels smart. And of course they're doing that they're making these shows kind of like, not necessarily like you have to watch the shows to get the movies, but you kind of do, but also just that they inform each other, if that makes sense. And in a nice way, that they can do things in the shows that they probably couldn't get away with or be able to spend as much time on in the movies. So what they're choosing to do, I think, just works really well. But yeah, that's why the order worked for me.
And y'all, well, beyond that, y'all loved the Spider-Man movie, right?
Yes, and we are actually, nice segue into, because I didn't know, we're going to shoot the shit in a second, so, and John will talk about where he's been, and why we are recording 2 episodes tonight, why you guys didn't get a Hawkeye podcast last week.
Yeah, blame me. It's my fault.
No, because but also with us, like but they've already talked to us. You know, they've hopefully.
I saw y'all did what the fuck ever, what Clubhouse.
No, I don't even mean that. Okay, wait, let me back up.
Okay, you talked about it multiple times already?
No. So So John was out of town, and he's going to tell us about that, right? So between John going out of town and then we moved, and we weren't supposed to move. We were just going to pick up our keys last week and then move in 2 weeks. But then, I don't know, I let Donnie talk me into it. So the very next thing I know is like, tomorrow, let's just rent a U-Haul and do all of this shit and try to do it in one day. So that's what we ended up doing. So what I mean is they already know that about us because we've talked about it on podcasts that you're not on that have been published in the past week. But I didn't know if honestly, the movie wasn't even on my radar. What is today? Monday. So early last week. And again, with the move, Jack just kind of was like, please don't forget to get the tickets. And so I got the tickets for Friday night. And it didn't even occur to me that it would be happening while you were away. So I didn't know if you would go to the movies. Like, I honestly thought the plane might have been enough for him. I don't know if he's going to be like, okay, I'm also going to go sit in a movie theater in California. Like, I didn't know where your head was at. So we saw the movie Friday, and I thought about doing a podcast talking about it over the weekend, but I wasn't sure if you had seen it or not, or if you were going to see it. And I was like, I'll just wait, because if you do, like, I didn't even know, John, if you were planning to wait until it came to Disney Plus. So I was like, I'll just wait and see how long John's gonna, wait to see it, and then maybe he'll want to do the podcast with us. So that's what I was trying to say.
Apparently nobody waited until Disney Plus. That fucking movie made like $300 million.
Apparently we're all going to get, what's it called? The Omicron?
Mitt Romney.
The Mitt Romney variant. Thanks to this movie, because everybody went to see this fucking and I don't know about y'all. But I was legit sitting in that theater, like, with that mask on, like, Jesus Christ, please don't let me get the Rona because I came to the movies. Like, at least let it be for something. Even though the movie was amazing, at least let it be for something kind of quote unquote important.
Of course, Spider-Man is one of the biggest superheroes out there, like the most popular.
Yeah, people love.
Through, like, if it was a Batman movie, same thing. If it was a Superman movie, like, Spider-Man's up there with, like, one of the most known superheroes. Of course, it's going to be, if you think about, like, the big superhero movies that have come out since we've been in fucking Coronaville. This is, like, we've had Black Widow. We've had, like, this is the biggest movie that we've had since the whole pandemic.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, considering the Eternals, not a lot of people knew, or probably still don't know who the fuck they are. Yeah. So the Hawkeye,
I honestly didn't think that many people would go see it. I thought it would be big, but, like, no movie is made anywhere near like 150 million. Like,
right.
it's like, and like they were like predicting it was going to make 180 or something. I was like, no way, no way. And then it fucking went 250. I'm like, okay.
Oh, but what I was talking about with Clubhouse was we did do a Hawkeye for Clubhouse on Clubhouse yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw y'all talking. My phone was like, they're talking over here, and I'm like, what?
You should have jumped in. Shit.
You should have came in.
I was in the airport.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was kind of last minute too. Like at some point during the week. I guess after seeing the episode and that reveal at the end, which we'll talk about, I was like, do you guys want to talk about this weekend? And everybody was like, please. And so that's what we did, yesterday. And then tomorrow, we were going to do it today, or at least I offered to do it today, but just shit got away from me. So tomorrow, at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to do a Clubhouse to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Obviously, when you listen to this, it will have already happened. Because I am not editing this and putting it out tonight for the morning. But we're gonna. So if you're free and want to jump in, we're gonna talk about it then. So let's shoot the shit before we talk about any more Marvel, Hawkeye, anything. John just got back home yesterday.
Yeah, I was far from home. I thought I had no way home, but then I celebrated homecoming.
I see everything you did there. All three. Your tweets at the airport yesterday, coming home from California.
Yeah.
Was fucking hilarious.
I'm glad someone enjoyed it.
Because I've been there. Because I've fucking been there, John. And it's like, why? Like,
Literally,
like
why are you at the fucking airport? Why,
yes.
Like, if you're coughing, like, this is what happened. I went to, number one, LAX. I understand what people talk about. It's bad.
It is the worst fucking airport.
I was like, it felt like it was no busier than Atlanta, because obviously Atlanta is
the busiest.
Is the busiest, and, but at least Atlanta feels like they know what they're doing.
Yes.
LAX feels like somebody just showed up and said, "Hey, let's do an airport."
Yes.
it's
and didn't tell anybody else.
Like, let's play. It's just like you line up crooked, and like it feels like you're like I was in security with sun shining in my eyes the whole time because it's like 8 a.m. And I'm like, I get to the thing. They're like, you don't have to take your shoes off. Just go through the fucking thing. It was so fucked up. And then I get to like my terminal, and it was like there were like 12 gates with the seats for like 3. So everybody was just kind of standing around because there was nowhere to fucking sit. And I had to stand there for fucking 90 minutes to 2 hours because I'm an old man. I show up at the airport early. But
Listen. I don't even know if it's an age thing. I really just think it's like personality wise. Like, because we have a friend who is like chronically running for flights. Should I say her name?
Yes.
Cat. You just won because you didn't know who I was talking about.
I didn't know. I didn't.
She's always like packing like the night before, like 2 a.m. She's posted on Facebook. Okay, I guess
I pack at 2 a.m., but then I don't sleep.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Never mind. I was going to say it's a personality thing because I will pack for a trip. I packed for Korea like 6 months in advance.
Well, I mean,
and I believe in getting to the airport. Like, it's like a sweet spot. Like, I want to get there like with just enough time to get out, check in, walk to where I have to walk, buy what I need to buy, and then board.
Well, see, that's what I did in Atlanta because like I've gotten used to like how it works. And I mean, I'm like 90 minutes away from the airport, so I still have to get up fucking early.
Right.
But like I got it down to where I can get to the airport. I've got like an hour to get through security, get to my gate, and then sit there for like 20 minutes and before I board.
Yeah,
and LAX, I was like, I did kind of the same thing, but like traffic wasn't as bad as you expect.
Mm-hmm.
And then even though security was ridiculous the way that it was set up, I did get through it pretty quickly because it honestly felt like they didn't give a shit. So like I got to my gate with like 2 hours. And I was okay, well, I'm just gonna be here. And so I got a seat at a bar, and I sat and I ate like 2 things that I didn't want, but I also didn't want to sit there and not have anything. I thought it would make me leave. So anyway, I ate like mozzarella sticks and onion rings.
You
like
wanted them. You wanted that.
No, I wanted them. I wanted them for sure. But like, I wasn't going to eat anything because I also ate on my plane. Like, so I also had lunch on the plane.
Was it a direct flight? Like,
yeah.
Okay,
I don't do layovers.
Yeah, I do not. Yeah, I don't give a fuck how much extra it costs. Like, no.
Sometimes it feels like the layovers are more.
Yeah. It's just like,
well, am I paying more because I get to spend some time in your extra airport?
In your extra airport.
It's like I get to, I went to Denver. No.
So tell everybody why you were California.
Oh, sorry. Well, really quickly. After the bar, I sat down because I found a seat away from my fucking gate, and this lady sat beside me like 10 minutes later.
Patient zero.
Yeah, and she started fucking coughing, and I'm like, well, I'm out of here. And I absolutely, like, it was very clear that's why I was leaving. I was just like, she started coughing, I got up. Like,
you were the Viola Davis gif you posted.
Yes, I was like, I ain't sitting here. Like, I was there for like 10 minutes. She's like, her husband or whatever was there, and then she came over and sat beside him after we had both been sitting there for a couple minutes. And then once she sat down and started coughing, I was out. And so I went and I got in line to board, and then I flew first class. So I was like, I'm going to board like she ain't even probably on my flight because, like I said, I was sitting away from my gate.
Right.
So I was like, I'm never seeing this one again in my life. I get on, I sit down. Who the fuck gets in on the plane? Her. I'm like, where's she gonna sit? Right in front of me. Literally the seat right in front of me. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm gonna die. Like, she might as well have had a fucking bomb. Like, it would have been better if she were like, here's my box cutter, I'm gonna take over this plane. I would have been so much more relieved if that had been the problem.
But instead, she sat there and coughed for 4 hours.
Yes. And like, there was nothing I could do. And I felt like maybe a couple other times, a couple other people were like heard her and were like, "What the fuck?" But like, most people didn't give a shit. Like, most people were just going about their day, and I was like, "You hear this? You're aware of what's happening." It was so nerve-wracking. So I tweeted about it, and I was like, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, do I get off this fucking plane? And I didn't, obviously, but now I'm like, I don't know. I could still be sick. It was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
but don't panic necessarily, because I think, don't most people get sick? I know I do after I fly. Like, just that recycled air, and it's just so like,
she could have just had the flu.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you'll probably anyway, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's that. But it's ridiculously nerve-wracking.
I'm gonna get tested. I'm gonna because that's the thing.
Well, they have the at-home test now. They're recommending people just get them.
Yeah,
and keep them in your house, but
the at-home test, like, is it like, because I'm gonna get a PCR test. Is that the PCR test is like the one where they scratch your brain?
Where they do what? Up your nose.
Like, because like apparently you can test negative using like a rapid test, but the PCR test will be positive.
Ah, okay. I doubt it's a PCR home test.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'm probably just gonna go like to Walgreens or something and have them. Yeah. Well, I think you do it yourself. They give you the Q-tip and you do it yourself. But anyway, I got my first test last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, because I flew. Well, the reason I flew out to Los Angeles is because I backed a Kickstarter for Mark Bernardin. He's a writer. He co-hosts a podcast with Kevin Smith, and he had this thing where he wanted to make a movie before he turned 50, and he turned 50 in November, and so he missed it by like a week, but no big deal. But that was the whole point. That was the whole premise of him doing this Kickstarter, wanting to do this short film, and I backed it. And one of the perks that I got was that I got to be an extra in the short film. And so, but like, it was so stressful because like they didn't say shit to me until like 3 weeks ago. And then they were like, okay, we're going to do it this date. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to buy a ticket and get a hotel and plan to be there. And then like over the next 3 weeks, they slowly said new things like, these are the clothes you have to wear, and like you gotta get
here's the COVID requirements. Yeah.
And it was like you have to get it within 48 hours. Number one, okay, these tests are bullshit.
Yes,
I'll tell you that, because you have to get it within 48 hours.
Yes,
of filming. So I had to get it. Like I landed in Los Angeles, and I had an appointment in Los Angeles. They'll come to you. And I don't know about anywhere else. I assume it's the same kind of thing in other like large urban areas. But in Los Angeles, you can have them come to your house or your hotel, and they'll do a test. And then if you want to pay them, they will do it faster. And so I paid them to give me my results in like 12 hours.
Okay.
But the reason I say it's bullshit is because I could have been exposed on the plane.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have tested positive.
Right.
3 hours later.
Exactly. It's yeah.
But it was just I needed a test. And I got it. And so there you go. So yeah, that was fun. I did that on that Sunday. I was on set for like 12 hours. It was cool. I don't know do you want to know anything else about that?
Oh, whatever you wanted to share. So that was cool. Wait a minute. Who else was in the film? Like the cast of the film?
Oh, well, the main cast is, Yetida Badaki was in it.
That's right.
I met her, like, I didn't meet her, like, hey, my name's John. I didn't meet her that way.
Right,
so,
right.
No, I don't misrepresent. But I did almost run over her. So
you told us.
How do you almost run over somebody? Like, explain.
Well, see, what happened? I can't.
The man who asked that question actually hit a kid on a bike with his car once.
Kid
but
go ahead.
A kid hit me. Your officer. Your Honor. But yeah. So I'll say at one point, because I was a background extra or whatever, but like he had us doing a lot of shit. Like a couple people had lines, which I think background is supposed to have lines.
Yeah, I mean you're supposed to get. Yeah, I think you're supposed to get paid.
Yeah,
like it. Well, I mean, I think I technically am going to get paid for being a background, which is weird because I paid to be there.
Yeah,
but I think they had like. Because of the way they're making, like the way the movie industry is, they have to pay you or whatever. But anyway.
Right.
Anyway, he had us doing a bunch of stuff, and one of the things was, at one point, Yatina Badaki had to like run, and then I had to run behind her because we were both running from something. And so I was supposed to run and cross in front of her while she was like shooting a gun, and I won't say any more than that.
Okay.
It was a fake gun. It was no real gun. Like, believe me, it was not.
Okay.
It was. They made a big deal out of like, this is a rubber gun. Nothing is real about this gun. It doesn't do anything.
Okay. Good.
But she was doing that, and then, I mean, they didn't give a lot of direction about like where I should finish running, and so like, we were both kind of just running in that direction, and so I almost like, I caught up to her. And I was like, oh, shit. And so, like, that's kind of what it was. And I was like, I almost ran over you. And she was like, it's fine.
Oh.
Because she was like making like gun noises with her mouth. It was funny.
Pew pew.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
And she was.
Go ahead.
I just said she was in it. Trisha Helfer was in it. She was there.
Caprica 6.
Moon. Yeah, and then Moon Bloodgood was in it.
Yeah, when I heard you say Moon, I was like Bloodgood because there's really no one else. Right?
And then a guy named Todd Stashwick.
I don't know him.
And then a kid, Brooks Firestone, I think is his name. He's like a 10-year-old kid or something. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
and you also got to hang out with some PFC people.
Yeah. So like, I'll take you through my week really quickly. On that was on Sunday, and then on Tuesday, another part of that Kickstarter was doing a meet and greet with Mark Bernardin, which was weird because I'd already met him on the set.
Right.
But also, we met before he and Kevin Smith had a show on Tuesday, their podcast Fat Man Beyond, at the bar that they film it at. And so we got to meet Kevin Smith too, and so we spent like 20 minutes talking to both of them.
That's cool.
That was really cool. I got a picture with them and all that. And then Wednesday I met some PFC people. I guess I could say their names. I don't guess they would care. Pialani and Lance and Tamala. We all went to a restaurant, had dinner. It was cool.
Do you know how we know Tamala?
Why are you putting them on the spot?
I don't know. I don't know if it came up when you guys were hanging out, but we well, at least I know I do, and I'm just assuming it's either you knew her then too, or she found you through the podcast MySpace.
Yeah, she said MySpace. Yeah, she said that she's known you since MySpace.
Yeah. And I only met her for the first time in person back in 2019 at a BTS concert.
Yeah. She mentioned that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's it. Like, and what I was just gonna say is like, I'm terrible with planning things. Like,
well, Pialani planned it, didn't she?
That's what I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna say shit to anybody because I don't know who wants to meet. I don't know.
Yeah, that's always awkward. Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'll just go, and then if shit happens, it happens.
Right.
But then she saw that I said something about it on Twitter, and that's when she found out I was going to be there. And then that's when she was like, "Oh, I can plan something." And then so that's what happened is she kind of planned that. And then I also met our friend Mandy.
Yes.
Who we've known for a million
forever
years.
since MySpace.
And then so I met her. It was on Thursday.
What did you guys do?
And, we went to a Thai place called Toy, I think is how you pronounce it. It's Toy on Sunset. It's on like the Sunset Boulevard. And it was nice. It was good food. And then it was cool because then she also, like, after we did that, she took me like through Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, like on a tour, basically.
Nice.
And I was like, "This is awesome! Like, it's a personal tour."
Yeah.
Because I wasn't planning on doing it, but I considered when I got there on Friday, I was like, "Oh, I could go on a tour."
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to fucking.
The TMZ tour.
Right, I saw the van. I saw the TMZ tour, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah, no.
But it was cool because when she did it, it was because took me through Rodeo Drive and everything. It was cool.
Yeah, and she knows her stuff, and like, yeah,
right. Yeah, so she was like telling me shit that I was like, oh wow, I didn't know any of that. Like Prohibition era shit.
Yeah.
So like that, and like the place that I ate on Wednesday it's called Fitzen's. It's a soul food kitchen by Staples Center or Crypto.com arena.
Yeah.
So I was.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was gonna ask if it was good because the pictures did not look good. Like the food
Really?
didn't look good. You know what it is? No. Like, how can I? Okay, Kaylee and I were just talking about this. Shut up. When
Go
okay, listen, I'll be flipping through DoorDash and like the thumbnail photo, right, of the food looks amazing. But then when you open it up, you know how like the menu items, they don't look as good as like the main picture. So it's all like washed out. And remember the chicken wings that I posted a couple of weeks ago? And I asked you guys which ones you would pick, and nobody liked the lighter colored, you know what I mean? That's what that looked like. Like the food looked really, I was like, did white people make this soul food? So I was going to ask you.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I was going to ask you. And I figured it was okay because you didn't cook it. Like I wouldn't shit on a photo of food you made, right? Because we all eat shit that don't necessarily look good.
You have, but go ahead.
But I don't anymore.
Yeah, I get you. I understand.
No, once I realize that it bothers you, and also it's a shitty thing to do. Like it's like, oh, okay, and so I don't do it to anybody except like maybe Donnie or my mom.
I don't know. Like it was okay. Like it was. I would even go say it was good. Like because like I had red beans and rice. They were good. I had coleslaw. It was good. I also had smothered pork chops.
See, I pay attention to your posts. Sorry, our dinner just got here. I said you had. Before you said it, I said you had smothered pork chop because I pay attention to your posts. Go ahead.
Sometimes,
not on Instagram.
Yeah, you're never on Instagram.
No,
if you honestly where all of my shit is.
But I saw the stuff on Facebook. So, but yeah, I saw, and Tamala had the shrimp and grits.
The shrimp and grits, and then Lance had gumbo.
That's right.
And
I remember what Pialani had. What did Pialani have?
She didn't eat. She wasn't feeling great.
Oh, okay.
But it was good. Like it wasn't great, and I feel like that was kind of the consensus for everybody. Was that it was okay.
It was okay. Yeah.
I had a chocolate martini.
Ooh.
I had 2 chocolate martinis at Fitzen's. They were very good. They were great. And also I had dessert. I had a cookie and ice cream thing. It was good.
Oh, nice.
So it was okay. I mean, it's owned by Kevin Johnson, who's an ex-NBA player.
Okay.
And then, like I said, Toy was good. Like Toy, like that the Thai food there was really good. And then,
did you go to the beach?
No, I didn't see the beach.
You're like, heifer, it's December.
I mean, that's the thing is too, like, it's December and like it was like the coldest week in LA ever.
John brought the snow and shit with him.
I feel like I did. I was like, I'm proud of women. But yeah, like that. So I didn't go to the beach. Everybody said go to Santa Monica, and I was like, I could. It's right there, but I didn't.
But no, that's okay. Pass.
The thing, I really wanted to see people. Like that was the main thing. Especially like I said, it's a pandemic, and then like as the week went on, like it felt like the pandemic was like. It was peaking while I was there.
Yes, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh my God, like seeing, people canceling plans and being scared to like go through with family plans. I was just like, it's like last year all over again.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It was just
like Saturday Night Live lockdown. Like it was. Like,
that was like the saddest Saturday Night Live. I don't know if y'all watched it at all.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
It was like a funeral. Somebody died. I guess a lot of people did die. But the point is, yeah. So like, I really I didn't go into the week with a lot of plans, and then as the week went on, I was just like, I just
things happened. Yeah.
so like, I did that, and then on Saturday I saw our friend Tequila, and then Sunday I came home.
Nice. Very nice. That was a nice week.
Formosa Cafe is where Akila and I went, and it's a Chinese place.
What you have?
What did I had? Orange chicken.
And
it was good. I
love how my fat ass is always asking where everybody ate.
That's the thing. It's like I all of my pictures are food and drinks and people. I didn't take any like tourist pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on Friday Friday's when I saw Spider-Man. I saw Spider-Man at the TCL Chinese Theater.
And that's the famous one, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, like Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Yes, that's what it used to be called, right?
Yeah, that's the one where all the handprints and shit are.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought when I told Donnie in the car. I was like, yeah, I think he saw it tonight. Because we were coming back we had to go to the old house on Saturday and clean and pack up more stuff. And we were coming back talking about the movie. And he asked and I was like, yeah, I think I saw a tweet. I think he saw it. And I think he saw it at that like famous Chinese theater in California. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, that was really cool. It's like going in there and doing shit.
Is it very modern inside, or is it?
They still do the movie premieres and stuff there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do some. Like it was shut down just that week for some, maybe not that week, maybe the week before. Some premiere they had there. But yeah, it's really modern. It was a 4D theater, so I saw Spider-Man in 4DX or whatever the fuck. So like I had to wear glasses and sit in a chair. Like a moving chair.
Oh, I was like, as opposed to standing? Like, what do you mean?
I realized how that sounded when I said it. So
I had to wear glasses and sit in a chair, and I was like, don't we all?
My grandmother does that, She wears glasses and sits in a rocking chair.
But the moving, okay, that's right. Yeah,
it was the 4D thing where it's like blue air in my face and shit.
Yeah, my senses are way too sensitive for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's still the best because that's the second time I've seen a 4D movie. I saw The Lion King live action, and I saw this. And
did it just smell like animal? Blow a puff of lion?
That, but yes.
Lion butt hair in your face.
Like at one point, it was like, "Is that beef jerky?" So they got Slim Jims in here. Macho Man snapping into something in here.
It smells like animal shit. You're like, what the fuck?
It smells like the zoo in here.
Is that an ass that I smell? It's like when they were doing that stampede scene, I was like, I smell ass. Ass and hoof.
This is way too realistic.
It's livestock. They just had a pig walk through. But anyway, the parts of those movies that I feel are the best are like the quiet scenes where the chair just follows the camera.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like that's what I felt like. Those were the better scenes. Like rocking. Like I got a massage. It felt like because like whenever Spider-Man would fall down, it would be like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say whenever his spidey senses tingle, like the chair tingles. It tingles your balls.
That's what it should do. Like it should vibrate. When his tingles.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, like that was everything. That's everything I did, and then I already talked about coming home.
Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, it was worth not being here to talk to us about TV.
Oh yeah, it was real hard to do.
But wait, you know what? We have to talk about something now that I think about it. So while you were gone, fucking Cowboy Bebop got canceled.
I was so sad because I was really liking that show.
And I was like, does this mean we don't have to finish? Like, what's going? Like, how did they? I felt so bad for them. Like everybody involved.
I felt really bad for John Cho.
Me too.
That motherfucker like broke his arm for 9 months.
Yes. And then he got COVID. Remember?
I didn't remember that. But
no, wait. Did John Cho get COVID? Hold on. Maybe I'm making shit up. Let me do my Googles. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's so like when I saw that news, I was bummed because I really enjoyed that show, and I was like, it feels like a show that just it's getting better as it goes. Like obviously, I haven't finished the season. Maybe it finished bad. I don't know, but it just felt like it was getting better as they got into the characters.
Yeah.
But it was a really expensive show. Apparently, it was really expensive, and because of the delay, that made it cost a whole lot more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
No, what I was thinking was he had written this essay about Asian discrimination amid COVID, and I was thinking about that. I just remember the headlines of that. Sorry. Okay. Is that it? Like, I'm trying to remember. Donnie, I thought you had something, right?
I don't have anything.
I mean, I did want to really, because we have not shot the shit in like 6 months. So
okay, hold on. Let me check the time. Okay, we have like 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to rattle off really quickly the things that I have watched. I have to I'm going to use some of my time going to the list.
This is like a game show. What was the one Betty White is really good at? Was it Pyramid, where they sit across from each other and you just have to like say one code word, like to get them to say another word? That's what I feel like is about to happen. I'm ready. Go.
All right. So I saw King Richard.
Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was really good. I thought Will Smith did a great job. Ingenue Ellis did a great job. Those two girls playing Venus and Serena did a great job. Great movie.
Okay.
I saw Clark, which is a documentary about Kevin Smith.
I was going to make a Kevin Smith joke and whatever, but go ahead.
It was good. Like, I thought it was really interesting. It was really well made. Like, if you're already a fan of Kevin Smith, like, you already know everything that's in it.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing revelatory in it or anything. It's just interesting. I watched a documentary about Kid Cudi. It's called A Man Named Scott, which is like a play on like his first album, which is A Kid Called Cudi. It's good. Okay. I really enjoyed it. Was I know a lot of people have been watching that Beatles documentary.
The Get Back or something like that.
Yeah, Get Back, and like honestly, it sounds like a cop. But anyway, Get Back.
I was like, what?
But I'll probably watch that at some point. But like, it's the Beatles. I know everything already.
Yeah. I like their music, but I'm not interested.
Right, and like it was just really interesting to learn about Kid Cudi, like how he worked with. I mean, Kanye West is horrible now, but on that 808s and Heartbreaks, like that's like one of the best albums in like the last 30 years. And like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, and like, so Kid Cudi, like hearing about him, how he got involved with Kanye and how he worked on that album and helped make it, like, and like the way that he, like, Kid Cudi, the sound of Day and Night, when that came out in like 2008, like the way that shaped music for like the next, ever since, like for like 15 years. It's just cool. It was a good documentary about him, and
he was the one that was in that last season of Westworld, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He's also an actor. Yeah. So it was good. It was a good documentary. I watched the documentary on Rita Moreno. It was good. It's really good. Learning about her and like, again, like, white people suck.
Yes.
Honestly, particularly white men.
The worst.
So like learning about like all the shit she went through and how she was still able to, even though she, was being cast in, stereotypical racist shit, like she was still able to go through and, become an EGOT. Like that was awesome. It's a really good documentary. It's on Netflix. I think it was on PBS first, like months ago. Anyway, it was good. I watched the movie Tick Tick Boom. Y'all know what that's about?
The musical with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. It's the one of two Andrew Garfield. Never mind. Tick Tick Boom. My bad. Tick Tick Boom is good.
Wait, is that not right?
No.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield is right. Yes, he is in that movie and only that movie. Tick Tick Boom is good. It's like you said, it's a musical, and it's about Jonathan Larson, who created Rent.
Ooh.
And like,
okay, because the clips I saw of it felt very Rent.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I didn't know the story of Jonathan Larson, and like the fact, like it's so like tragic, the fact that he worked so long to become successful, and then it's not a spoiler because like it's the guy's life. He died the day before Rent premiered.
Oh.
He had like I want to say it was a heart condition, diagnosed or something, and like so it's like the fact that happened is just, and so like watching this and watching him, like the struggles that he was going through trying to get it, and it was well, trying to get his career going. He wasn't actually working on Rent at the time, but anyway. Right. So yeah, that I watched another documentary about baseball. Nobody gives a shit about it. It was good. It was about the '98 home run thing with McGuire and Sosa.
And all of that was just on his first flight.
Right. But no, I watched. So on my first flight, I did watch Bad Boys for Life. Finally, another Will Smith movie. It was great.
I forgot that even existed.
Me too. But I saw it and I was like, I haven't watched this yet. This is great.
I haven't seen it like anywhere.
I thought it was on HBO.
Oh,
because that's how I've seen it.
I forgot that. When did that come out?
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, like early 2020. I want to say.
Oh, that's why. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, that I watched that, and I rewatched Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Really good. And then on my flight back, that's when I watched the baseball documentary, and I also watched the Sesame Street documentary that's on HBO Max. It was really good. Like learning about everything about Sesame Street, like the creation of Sesame Street. Like everybody knows Jim Henson, right? Like, and obviously for good reason, created the Muppets, and he was integral to the whole thing. But there's a woman who was like the creator of Sesame Street that, like, I didn't realize that.
What's her name?
Her name, you see, you're gonna put me on the spot. It was something Cooney. Let's
just say Rosemary.
Rosemary Clooney. That's who it was. It was Rosemary Clooney. It was George Clooney's aunt or whatever the fuck. Yes. I can tell you her name right here. I think it's Joan.
No, but when you was like, but there was a woman, and I didn't know that, I was like, of course. Nobody knew, of course.
Right, that's the thing. It's like, and I was like, oh yeah, obviously nobody. But at the time, apparently, she was getting all the credit. And like, her name was Joan Gans Cooney is her name. And apparently at the time, and like it was a thing that one guy was like upset that she was getting all the credit because he was like, I'm doing a lot of work.
I got my hand on these puppets' ass all day.
Right? So yeah, that was cool. And I mean, so that was cool. And I read some books really quickly. Because like I said, we have not shot the shit in so long. And so I would say I didn't read the books. I listened to the books because that's what I do.
That's cheating.
Yeah, but like it's easy to do like at the gym.
Yeah.
So I listened to a book called Crying in H Mart, which we talked about this, right? It's so good. Like the reason that I heard about it was because I like Japanese Breakfast, which is Michelle Zauner's, like, I think it's one of those things where like it's kind of like Avril Lavigne, right? Where like there's a band, but it's her. You know what I mean? Yes. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's kind of what Japanese Breakfast is like it's there's a band involved, but like she's like the face of it.
Like,
and like
no doubt.
Like, like that. But like Japanese Breakfast, like their Twitter is just her. You know, okay. So it's like, anyway, really good book. It's about how she's a Korean American woman, and I love in the book, I'll say this, like the way that she uses food, and like that's obvious. Like you see on the cover, it's it's food, and like H Mart is a Korean food mart.
Yeah,
and so the way that she talks about it is like, and it's just something that I've heard a lot from Asian Americans, honestly. Like I think like Randall Park, I've heard talk about it. I think Ali Wong talked about it. Like I've heard like interviews they talked about it. The fact that there's no like identity for Asian American people in America, or like, and so like as someone like, she talks about it in the book how like when you're in America, you're treated not American enough,
right?
And then like when you're in, your home country or whatever, like when she's in Korea, for example, you're not Korean. And at one point, like she talks about how like the allure of whiteness, and I think, have you read this? I don't remember we talked about it.
I have it.
You have it, but you haven't read it.
Wait a minute, maybe I'm mixing it up. I know I have it. Maybe I'm mixing it up with the one that I read about. Oh God, what was her name? Let me pull up my Kindle.
All right,
but go ahead, keep going while I pull it up.
Yeah, so like the whole thing is like she talks about that the allure of whiteness and how like sometimes like, you want to get rid of your Asianness because you live in America, and so you want to be white and you want to like act white, and at one point like she wants to identify with her mother who's Korean, and then like the way that, but then like her mother kind of treats her like she's American. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't treat her like she's Korean. And like one of the ways that she relates to her mother is through food. And that's how you would get into like how they went to H Mart and they would get food together, and at a certain point, like the book is about like how her mother, ends up dying at a certain point. And like the way that she uses food to then connect to her mother, like as she's dying, like it's really
no, I know. Okay, here's what it is. So I read and wrote a paper on Minor Feelings by Kathy Park Hong, and she's a Korean American adoptee. Like her parent, or I forget what the term is, but they're white, and that's what I was confused. But what you're talking about, I think there was like a excerpt or like an essay. You know how sometimes they'll take like a chapter or a part of like a memoir like this and publish it like in Vanity Fair or something. I feel like I've read that, and because I read that, I went and bought the book.
Yeah, you may have read, because like what happened was she wrote an article about her mother and all this, and then from that she wrote a book.
So I think that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe you read that.
Yeah.
And so like it's a great book. I really loved it. I read The Boys, written by Ron Howard and Clint Howard. It's about their life.
I thought you were going to say the graphic novel that the show is based on. Ooh.
I don't have any interest in reading that. Honestly.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's good. Ron Howard, Clint Howard, very interesting. Obviously very interesting life. One of the things about Ron Howard that made me want to read the book is he's someone he's unique in that he was born in like 1954. He got on TV when he was like 4 years old in 1957, and he's been in public ever since then. And so like I don't think anyone else has that experience.
Yeah.
Where like 53 of his 57 years, or however fucking old he is.
In the public eye.
Yeah, like it's just, and he grew up in public, and he's been an adult throughout public, and he didn't go away like like a child actor then goes away and then you don't hear about it anymore. He's still around. Yeah. So it was just interesting. I read The Queens of Animation. It's a book about the women who never get talked about in the history of Disney. It was really fucking good. Again, I read good books. What can I say? It was really interesting to read about it, and read about obviously Walt Disney, not a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the thing. Is like you hear like he wasn't a great guy. He's one of those guys who like you're like, yeah, he was okay for the time. Like how everybody was a piece of shit. He was like. He was the lesser piece of shit, but he was still a piece of shit like everybody else. But like it was great. It's really interesting learning about all those people, and it goes all the way from the beginning, like from Snow White, all the way up through, I think, Frozen. So, like, it's a lot of cool shit. And then I read about All About Me, which is Mel Brooks's book that just came out. And that was even more interesting, like, than...
Did he just die?
No, don't put that out there.
Okay. I was trying to remember which one. Who am I thinking? Never mind.
Yeah, I think some people have died.
No, there's oh God, who was it?
But yeah,
was it Norman Lear?
Did he die?
I think so.
Maybe. Carl Reiner, he did.
Carl Reiner died?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Literally in the book, Mel Brooks talks about it because they were really close.
Carl Reiner? No, I'm thinking of the other one. Never.
You think about Rob Reiner, his son?
Yes.
Meathead.
I was like, Meathead didn't die.
No, he didn't. So anyway, like, it was interesting. Obviously, like, interesting to hear his, like, because he was in World War II. He was born in, like, the Great Depression. He went to World War II, all that shit. But it was so much more interesting because I listened to it. And like, listening to him tell it as, like, a 95-year-old guy, like, talking about all this shit is so
Norman
cool.
Lear didn't die. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought, like,
it was Carl Reiner that I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought so.
So this whole white guy died. Okay, so
that's it. That's everything that I've watched and read, and now I can go away now.
You should do a Substack. Is that what the kids are doing now?
What the fuck is that?
Like, it's like
no.
Is that like when I have 2 sandwiches and I put them on top of each other?
No, it's like is
that a military formation in the Navy?
No, it's like a newsletter app, site.
Okay.
So you can just basically pay to read about what you're doing.
I don't think nobody would do that.
You know why? You just sat here and talked about all this stuff that you did. That would be like interesting stuff. Like, I think Drew McWeeny, he has one. And so, like, he does, like, movie reviews and stuff.
All right. I mean, you know, yeah.
So anyway, all right. So we're going to talk about...
If y'all would pay.
Yeah, let him know. I'm serious.
And if you want to pay me now, you send me money. I can...
PayPal.
I got PayPal. I got
John, drop your Cash App.
I got hand cash. You can send it. If there's money that you can send to, I have it.
Or I'll get it.
Okay, so we're gonna stamped envelope. Anyway. Just give me your address. I will get your money.
Wait, which ones are we doing? Oh, 4.
I'll get your money now.
It's my money, and I want it now.
Did Donnie? Did our dinner not get here yet?
It just got here.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's talk about these episodes really quickly before Donnie has to go to work.
I just talked forever. Sorry.
It's okay. We have episodes 4 and 5. I think I said the titles already, right? But just in case. Episode 4 is Partners, am I right? And episode 5 is Ronin. Yeah, I'm gonna stop doubting Marvel now.
Right.
Cause, like, this is good. This show is really good. And, like, I had no interest in Clint Barton. And I still really don't.
Right? That's one of the things I was thinking about, like, when they were in that scene when he's talking to her, telling her about how he met Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they're really doing a good job making me like him. But not enough to where I'm like, I'm not still like, he should have died and she should have lived.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. None of that. But I'm going to stop doubting them because I like this way more than I thought I would. And I was prepared for, the links to other things, like the Kingpin reveal at the end, because I know how Marvel operates. Who was it that popped up? well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but we know who pops up at the end of Loki. You know, so I know that they will do big reveals in these shows, but I still wasn't really, really looking forward to this. But damn, if it isn't really good.
And even just showing the blip, like showing stuff like that, I thought that was like
the blip, the snap, and the blip we saw.
Right, and just bringing that into the shows and stuff like that. It's cool to see it.
Yeah, 2 snaps and a blip. You know, am I right?
Yep.
But
that's like a combo meal.
Yeah, like come on, give it
the
to
fries
me.
come with that.
That's my Substack.
So
that's the thing is like
Nico move.
It's so good, and like I feel like as much as I have liked the other shows. And I'm not saying I'm going to say, oh, this is better than the others, because I feel like they've all been really good.
They've all been really good, yeah.
But I will say that I do feel like this one is the most like a Marvel movie.
Yes.
Like, I feel like this one feels more like the movies. And maybe that's because it's shorter. Maybe, like, but it just feels more like the movies.
You can hear my dog panting. I'm sorry.
It's grounded compared to all the other stuff. Nina brought that up on the chat Clubhouse. We did yesterday. Clubhouse. That there's no superpowers. There's nothing like that. It's very grounded. And there's a lot more characters in this than there was in any of the other Marvel stuff that we've seen TV show wise.
Yeah.
They do such a great job at developing these other characters and making you interested in all these other characters.
And I know that some people complained that the first 2 episodes, like it's called Hawkeye, but it was a lot of Kate Bishop. But I think,
sorry.
Yeah, like, but but I think, and when I say not in that, not even so much in a like male, like white dude, you know, kind of way, but just in a what they thought the show would be kind of way, which is interesting because I think I always assumed that this is her show.
That's what I thought.
And that the point of this was kind of like to pass.
To hand the torch.
Right. But what the fuck? I don't fucking know because...
I'm still
at the end, who knows? After this
week's to die.
I was gonna say we'll talk about that in a second. But after this week's finale, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna announce a Hawkeye movie. I have no fucking idea. But I thought that this was her show. But I mean,
it always felt to me like, and like honestly, as I'm watching it, I mean, it feels like he's gonna be in the first season, and if they do a second season, he ain't gonna be there.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Like, I don't think he'll die.
They would change the name of it too.
What did you say?
I think they would change the name. They wouldn't still call it Hawkeye. I think they would change the name of the show.
Yeah, I don't remember because I don't remember. Does she go by Hawkeye in the comics? I don't remember.
I thought so.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like, all I know is Kate Bishop. Like, I don't remember if she actually takes on that mantle or not. So, I'm not sure. At one point in this episode, or one of these episodes, she introduces herself as his partner, but I think to the LARPers, right? And then she's like, "I'm Hawkeye is the partner," and I was like, she almost said she was Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I would say like. Just overall thoughts on just the way this show's going. I agree. Like, it's really fucking good.
Sorry, I'm gonna be eating while we record. Go ahead.
That's all right. It's really good, and like, I guess like satisfying. I guess is a good way to put it. Like the way that I felt like, as you mentioned in the end of Loki, that reveal, that was satisfying. Like. The fact that we were like, oh, Kingpin's going to be here. And then they were like, there's fucking Kingpin right there. And it's like, this ain't Mephisto. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
right.
I mean, as much as, like, I really love WandaVision, like, it's a great fucking show, there was, like, that hype that people got around it. And then it kind of wasn't, you know, and that was our fault, right? As viewers, that was our fault for predicting something that just didn't happen. But, like, here we got lucky and we were right to be like Kingpin's gonna fucking be there, and then he was there.
You know,
it was awesome.
I heard a lot of people say that this is their favorite. So if you had to rank them so far, how would you rank them? You can go first. Whoever. Like, Donnie, what's your favorite? Donnie?
I'll go.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's, for me, like,
There it goes.
fucking, it's like, I acted like I knew. But, like, it's hard because it's a toss-up from between Loki and WandaVision.
Okay.
And then I would say this is right there with those. And then I would say even though I think all of them have been really good. Honestly.
Yeah, but Winter Soldier for me is the bottom.
Yeah, I would say, like, saying bottom feels.
Yeah, it feels more negative than it should be.
But, like, honestly, if you did rank them, I guess it would be, the last one. But, like, they've all been really, really good. I would say Loki number one, and then WandaVision, and then Hawkeye, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
All right, I'll throw What If in there just to make it feel better. What If would be last?
All right, yeah, I mean, yes, I agree.
Yeah, I couldn't even finish.
Are there other? I don't remember. Are there other ones? It feels like I'm.
No, that's it.
Something, but,
No.
Okay.
I think I would do WandaVision, Loki, Winter Soldier. No, wait. WandaVision, Loki. WandaVision, Loki. This, Winter Soldier, and then what's the other one?
What If?
Yeah, What If?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's and that's what I would say. Honestly, like 1A, 1B, and 1C are Loki, WandaVision, and Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say, like
Yep.
they're all three really close to me.
All right.
And it's right behind it is Winter Falcon.
All right. Let's talk about these episodes. So, the episode 4, Clint meets the parents, Mom and Jack, and he reluctantly says that they're working together. But at the end of the conversation, Eleanor warns him off, warning that Kate is no hero and that she can get hurt. And a lot of people thought it was like a low blow bringing up Natasha. But I thought, before, and this is before the confirmation that she's evil, I thought it made a lot of sense. Like a mother would say that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I thought that made all the sense in the world, that conversation, because she, in front of Kate, she was more cordial, but then when she got him alone, like intentionally, she was like, "I'll show you out," and she told Kate to stay there, and then so like they had that conversation. I was like, "Yeah, this feels exactly like you would expect a mother to act, trying to protect their kid."
Mm-hmm.
And then that was something that I really loved later when he protects Kate. Like, it just feels very, like, right.
Yeah.
Except she went one step ahead and got on the phone with Uncle and called a hit on him.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. After that was...
Here's the door. Listen, let me get on the phone. You're dead.
Yeah, but that was after. That was after she had the conversation.
So he has his wife Laura look into the Sloan company that they here goes Nico panting again, that they found in the system that supposedly Jack owns. Movie night, Kate brings decorations and food, and he teaches her this trick shot with a coin. Mm-hmm. Nico. I don't know, but he's like breathing heavy into the mic. He teaches her this trick shot, and he answers the question of the best shot. His best shot was the one he never took, and we learn how he met Natasha, which I don't think I knew.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's something that they've said before.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I just really, I feel like they've done a good job of creating this like sibling relationship between these two. I remember like uncle and niece because like he's 74 years old, but you know, you know what I'm saying.
I get it. Yeah.
It never felt creepy. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It never felt like there was any hint of like romance ever.
No,
and it never comes up. Like even other people, like nobody's ever mistakenly thought that's his wife, or you know, like even as a joke. And I love that.
Yeah, like her
mentor.
Yeah, it's like her mom never was like, "You better watch your." Yeah, like it wasn't. Yeah. They don't treat it that way, and it never feels that way, and that's great. Because it is hard. Like, I would say it's probably hard to have like a relationship like this where they become close friends without there ever being that hint, right? And like, there's no hint ever, and it's nice.
I think when you first started saying that, what I thought you were going to say, and I was like, oh, I agree. I think all of the kind of like faux sibling relationships feel real. Like this kind of mentor relationship that you just talked about, but also a lot of Clint and Natasha's relationship, like the really deep stuff happened off screen, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the time they met, or we finally got to see it, but like the thing in, what was it, Belarus, or like even though she's already gone, they're doing a really good job of kind of building that relationship or fleshing it out more, I should say. And the same, I think, can be said for Yelena and Natasha, because we've only had that movie, right? But it was effective, and Florence Pugh, I think, really, really sells it.
Yeah, Florence Pugh is so good.
It's like you would think she had been in all the Avengers movies prior. Like, do you know what I mean? Like she's had like that. You've seen her and Natasha really go through it, except that, you know, but instead it's just the one movie, but she sells it like, you know.
Yeah, I think she's Russian.
Right? Like in this scene, I know I'm jumping to the next episode, but in that scene when she's talking to Kate, and when she says hi, I said, hi. I was like, that's so good. I don't know why. It just felt so like, I don't know, good. It was so like a nice moment.
No, Nico, you can't come in. I'm going to pull kind of like the noteworthy stuff out of my notes from the episodes. But if I like obviously skip over something that you really want to talk about, just go ahead and bring it up. Am I the only one who got the whole the Avengers always fucking stuff up vibe when that cop did not want to give Clint her bag with the arrows in it?
I didn't think about that, but like it makes sense.
Because I think it's because like recently there was some sort of meme about like renters insurance living in, you know, New York or near Avengers Tower or some shit like that. And somebody like in the group had said, like talking about how therapists in the MCU must be making a killing, you know, because people need therapy with all these events. So I think maybe that's where my head was. So when I watched this and she didn't want to give up the bag, it kind of felt like, you're giving this bag to an Avenger who's going off on some sort of mission. You may never see it. This bag may end up in space.
All I could think was nothing better happened to this fucking bag.
Oh my god! Right?
Because she was so like, my wife gave this to me, and what did it say on it? It had something embroidered on it. Yeah, so like bombshell, like nothing better happened to that bag. We better get a scene in the finale where she gets her bag back. Because, come on.
And Bombshell is a character.
Also, we got to get those costumes in the finale.
I'm so scared because, like, nothing those LARPers wore makes me think these costumes are going to be any good.
Yeah, it was like they're not a haberdasher, you know? Like,
it's going to be the classic Hawkeye costume.
When she shows up with her purple archery suit, I was like, hell yeah! Like, I don't need like
anything else.
I don't need the pointy eyes. I don't need that.
Yeah, no, this is great. So, so the watch is in Maya's apartment. Mm-hmm. And this is the watch that, for some reason, Clint and Laura are very interested in retrieving.
And Laura was the first one to bring it up, right?
Yes. We talked about this on Clubhouse, where, because I had asked, I was like, okay, how exactly did Clint become aware of the watch? Because we, the audience, knew that the watch was of significance because the Tracksuit Mafia, when they busted that auction, specifically said, we're looking for the watch, but just take everything, right? So it was like, how did that get on his radar? And as it turns out, what I had forgotten was that when he told Laura about the Ronin suit being retrieved from that Avengers compound rubble and being at this auction, she's the one who said, what else do you think might be out there? And specifically brought up the watch.
Mm-hmm. So and he was like, oh, it was destroyed. And she's like, oh yeah, we thought that about your little suit too.
Mm-hmm.
I like her. The shit that they like, the fact that they have her being like an accomplice.
Yes.
Basically. And like if she's like talking Russian so the kids can't understand on the phone, it's like, so I like it.
So
there's like, a theory.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the whole that she's Mockingbird.
All right.
That she's and it makes sense because apparently Kevin Feige not really fucking with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. but I like that
and
the way remember of it. the terminology that she uses, again, like you said, her being able to speak Russian. The fact that he says the watch belongs to someone who he used to work with, who has been out of the game for a long time, right? That would, I think, track, like, if it turns out that she was like him and Natasha. Watch. Right. And there was one other thing. Oh, and then I think in the next episode, the next one we're going to talk about, she says something like, when he calls, and it's basically like he's trying to get permission to go off and handle this and maybe have to miss Christmas. And she says, and know that I understand better than anyone else could, or something like that. So it feels like they're hinting that she was in the life.
Oh, I mean, that would make sense. And like, it's cool. It's kind of like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I like it because like, that's one more thing that I had on this episode, really, just like the last thing I have on this one. But the way, like, when he is in that scene with Kazi, right? He gets in the car and he threatens him, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, right after that scene is when Clint goes back to the apartment and the LARPers are there with Kate.
Yeah.
And like, I really felt like that juxtaposition, like, it felt like she's keeping him human. It felt like it's like he is like going full Ronin, and then obviously he eventually does, go almost full Ronin. Mm-hmm. But like, it just feels like her levity, and the fact that it's kind of like she's, like I said, she's kind of keeping him human and keeping him in touch with his humanity. Where like, and then she has that Christmas party that she does for him when he's basically like doing nothing. He's just disconnected. And then the reason I was reminded of that is because it kind of feels like his wife is kind of doing the same kind of thing, where like they're hiding shit from the kids, and the kids know it. Like the kids are old enough, you can tell, like they're like, oh, it's dad. Like, it's one of those things where like, and obviously we saw the great scene in that other episode where the kid was like, you don't have to come home for Christmas, it's fine. Like, it feels like they're both, he and his wife are kind of like in the life, like you mentioned, like where it's like they're kind of losing their kids a little bit,
This show also has done a good job of showing that Clint is a nice guy, because that's not a way I would have described this character before this show. But like, him doing that whole LARPing thing, like, he could have been a dick about it, right? But he went along with it. And then when Grills asked him, did you have fun? He goes, I'm glad I did it. The way he talks to Grills, like when he offers him his couch and stuff, you know, like the way he talked to the other LARPers, like he seems like just a nice guy. Which I don't think, you know, that I would have said that about him before from the movies.
Right, and that's the thing, like, that's what Kate, in her conversation with Yelena, says, like, he's a good guy. We all make mistakes, but, like, he's good. And, like, I feel like this show is, like, everyone treating him like a fucking hero. Like, even to the point where it's like we even talked about, like, the difference between the way he's treated and the way Sam was treated on Winter Falcon, right? Like, everybody's like, you're a hero. Even, like, Jack thanks him for saving the world, you know? And, like, everybody's like, you're awesome. You're amazing. And Clint is like, I'm a piece of shit. I deserve nothing. I'm horrible. You don't even know the half of it. And, like, I feel like that's, like, the show. It's like him. The truth is somewhere in the middle, like it always is. He's obviously not a peerless hero, but, like, he's also, like you said, he's a good guy. He's done some shitty things.
What I thought they did was trying to clean up what we had been talking about, the fact that he lost his family and then decided to go, you know, take it out on brown bad people in other countries, and then we find out, oh, he was doing it here, but also still brown people.
Right. It's kind of a lateral move.
But he says in one of these, I think the next episode, I don't remember, basically, like, the people were investigated. Like when Kate confronts him about being Ronin, right? It feels like they're trying to clean it up. Like, he didn't kill anybody who didn't have it coming. like he had proof of their wrongdoings before. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting when he's telling her about how he's not a hero, he's a weapon.
Yep.
Or he's a tool or whatever. And, like, he was just pointed in the direction by the right people. And then it feels like some of what I got out of that was kind of like, when he was Ronin, it felt like he wasn't really being pointed by anybody.
Right. See, that's what I thought. I thought prior to this episode that we're talking about, this series, I thought that he was going out on his own,
right,
killing bad guys, right? Like known, like, because we saw, like, it was like a, you know, Yakuza in Japan or whatever it was in the movie, right? So it wasn't like he was just, you know, picking on, like, random bad guys in the street, but, like, taking on these organized crimes, but at his own will. But now it seems like they're saying either he was, like, when he says the informant,
he was a hitman.
Yeah, it's that he was working for, I don't know, some clandestine part of the government or for hire, but, like, and I don't know how I feel about that. Well, but I don't know the history of Ronin in the comic book, so this could all be canon, and, you know.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, what I feel is that when he was talking about it, I thought he was talking about before he was an Avenger. When he was working for the government, that's when he was pointed at the right people by the right people. Okay. And then after the blip or the snap or whatever, when he went, you know, off the rails, that's when he went by himself. And he started he started investigating people himself. And that's why I think one of the reasons why I say that's probably what happened is because his name was Ronin. And Ronin is a masterless samurai. Right. So, like, I would say that he was probably not being pointed when he was Ronin. And like he says here, like, he got tipped off by an informant, which is apparently Kazi. and then he's like, your boss, Kingpin, wanted your dad dead. And so, like, it sounds like he was investigating on his own and then pointing himself at people. Right. And then that's why, like, he fucked up and killed Maya's dad. Like, maybe if he had been pointed by someone, he wouldn't have done that. Instead of, he was just kind of blindly going with rage.
Okay, so what you're saying.
After anybody he found out was bad.
Mm-hmm. So I really thought the best part of the next episode was going to be that whole snap blip moment. But then we had the mac and cheese moment.
Right? Like that whole, like everything with Yana. This Florence Pugh's really good. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember shit. But had we ever actually seen physically someone come back?
Yeah, Monica.
That's right, we did.
WandaVision. Yeah. That's what I meant. This was we saw them go, we saw one person come back, but we'd never seen them the same person go and come back. If that makes sense. Yeah.
In that scene in WandaVision, did like the scene change? Like the way it did with Yelena here?
Well, yeah, I don't remember. I think to my hazy recollection, I think where they get away with it is, remember, hers was a hospital room and she was just sitting in a chair by the window, remember? And they had taken her mother to go have surgery. So I think if my recollection, it was just the window and her. You know what I mean? Like, so she closed her eyes. Right. And then we see her like materialize in this chair. So I think if the scene did change, like as she came back, they can get away with saying, well, yeah, it did happen there too. Right. But to this detail, it was weird because she like left, came back, and she was able to spin around and watch the room change around her. Yeah,
that was just so cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess lucky that nobody moved Monica's chair.
Right? She just fell on her ass.
But yeah, it was just really cool to see, like, and like, I felt it. You know what I mean? Like when she comes back and she's like talking to that woman,
and then she's like, "I gotta find my sister." Like,
yes,
that right there, I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. I was like,
you know what makes it like even worse is like in that moment, nobody knows Natasha's dead.
Right. Because she just came back, like
because the blip, right?
Everybody came back, they were fighting Thanos.
She died, and then they came back, and they immediately started fighting Thanos. So, like, I'm sure she was like, "Well, okay, hope you find her."
I just fucking love this. Just like thinking, like honestly, just thinking about this, thinking about the movie, like. Think about Spider-Man, think about all of it, just think about the way it's all put together and built, and it's just so fucking good.
And, like, that's why it makes it like particularly just annoying when you have some other directors saying things like these movies are substanceless and they're not real movies or whatever. It's like, what? This is fantastic storytelling and world building. And sure, a lot of it has been laid out for them. With the source material, they have a lot of good stuff to work with. But what Marvel is doing is highly impressive.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, it is legitimately fucking good. Like, just to think, like just thinking about watching this show. And that scene happens, she comes back, and then I'm like, I remember exactly where the fuck I was when that happened in that movie 2 fucking years ago.
Right.
And it's like, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. And to think, like, remembering, like, I just got goosebumps thinking about, like, when it happened. Like, when we saw, Infinity War for the first time, and the moment and he says you should have went for the head, right? And then he snaps his fingers. The quietness,
and then the fuck, like, it ends.
Yeah, yeah, and you just start watching people disappear, and then it ends, and it's just like I got goosebumps thinking like all of this storytelling that we're getting began with that moment,
That's the thing, is like, it's so like we've been getting that for 80 fucking years with comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been doing that, like, and it's just good. It's just really fucking good. You can't overstate how great this is. Mm-hmm. And again, I will say Spider-Man.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I like that Yelena. I like Yelena, but I think in Clubhouse people are telling me it's Yelena. I like Yelena. Okay, whatever. Yelena.
Her mama named her Cassius.
I'm gonna call her Florence. What was I saying? Her character mentions the new Statue of Liberty. I think it's pretty cool that you get to eventually see that.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Like that's the type of shit. This is the type of like world building they can do because of the fucking amazing world building they've been doing.
Yes. And I mean that's
like what must that fucking flowchart wall look like?
That's the
like,
thing, like
we'll mention Kevin it in this show and we'll show it in this movie.
Kevin Feige, like, he deserves so much.
Mm-hmm.
like he should own Hollywood. Just give him the whole thing. Because it feels
give him all the movies.
And like, I mean, honestly, like, I don't want to discount Amy Pascal, who's working on Spider-Man, and anyone else who's done anything else. But like,
right. Of course.
Kevin Feige, like, it's just like
maybe they should have given him that. What was the franchise that Tom Cruise tried to? The monsters,
the Universal monsters.
Yeah,
Mummy and Frankenstein. And
I think they're going to. I thought I heard a rumor they're going to retry it again.
Don't put that out in the universe. So this whole conversation, this is weird. Because clearly, I mean, I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you've watched the episodes, but you've also seen Black Widow. The way this was presented at the end of Black Widow is the woman, I think her name is Valentina, approaches her at Natasha's grave and basically tells her that Clint Barton is responsible for Natasha's death. So I think everyone's assumption was, once it was confirmed that she would be in this, was that, she's going to come looking to kick his ass or kill him.
And she did.
Of her own volition, though, like, whatever.
Right.
But it sounds like she's saying Eleanor hired her.
Yes. So
it's like, did Eleanor like hire a Black Widow for this? And it's like, Yelena was like, you know what? I just happen to already be in New York.
She's like, it's like it came through the wire, and Yelena's like, I'll take it.
I'll take it. It's mine. Like a DoorDash.
Yeah. What's weird about the whole thing is, the mother didn't know Hawkeye was involved until the dinner scene.
Right.
But when Yelena approaches Kate, she knows everything about Kate. Like, everything from the beginning when she got the dog, like, everything.
She's good.
Like, how do you know all of that if you just got involved yesterday?
Like she
or
says,
has she been involved?
Like she says, she's really good at what she does. Mm-hmm. when Kate's like, you broke into my place, she's like, I didn't break shit. I'm better than that.
And it's true, like she did protect Kate before knowing that this was the daughter of the person who hired her. Right? Because she wasn't because we didn't talk about the fight on the rooftop, right? But like she strapped her so that she wouldn't fall.
That was because, like, for him, that was watching Natasha fall all over again.
And the music was the same. Did you catch it? But it was like just a version. Yeah.
And did somebody put a side by side from the movie, and it's identical. Like the scene is identical to. I don't remember if I mentioned this or not. I think I did, but like I said, my edibles kicked in, so. There was a scene in one of the prior episodes where, I told you guys, never mind. The LARPing scene. It was like a
folksy version of the Avengers theme.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was like toss a coin to your Avenger.
to your Archer. But yeah, like this whole scene was great. All the hot sauce she put on that box mac and cheese, which is delicious. We were talking about this in Clubhouse, and like, I will die on this hill. Box mac and cheese is better than baked mac and cheese.
It's so good, and putting hot sauce on it is the move.
And straight from the pot is even better.
Yeah, you put hot sauce. You can also put barbecue sauce. It's good. It's hard. I want it now. So that's one of the things. Like, just really quickly, like Haley Steinfeld's doing a really great job as Kate Bishop, and I thought this scene with her and Florence Pugh was great because the way that it illustrated her ability to learn, like, on the job. Where she was like interacting with her, and she was like, if I wanted you dead, I'd already be dead. Yeah. I'd definitely already be dead. And then that's when she starts eating, and then she's like, are you saying my whole name just so I know that you know it? Yeah. And she's like, yes. I just like, she's just doing a good job of illustrating like her ability to catch on quickly. And she's doing a good job with it. Like, Haley Steinfeld's doing a good job. I know Echo's getting her own show, which we'll talk more about with this big reveal at the end. But my assumption and my hope was that if this show got a second season, it's her show. So fingers crossed. Her trying to bring down her mom. But can we talk about Jack's arrest real quick? I was shocked.
Wait, what? Are you being sarcastic?
I was just like, I thought when Kate told her, the way that played to me was, her mom already knew all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did.
But I meant, like, and then I didn't expect her to then call the cops on him.
I think she was just playing along, but I brought it up. I think the cops could have been fake. Like, I feel like either that or he's just clueless and he has no fucking idea what's going on. But I think he could be so dumb that he doesn't know anything about, like, this, him being accused of whatever's going on. I don't think he knows anything.
I think obviously she already knew, and I think she was setting him up to be the fall guy all along, which is why it was in his name. But the fact that her daughter found out meant that she had to then act on it. Like, because Kate knows and she's telling me, I have to act on it. What would I do if I'm not a piece of shit? I would turn him in. So that's not what she planned to do, but she had to do it. And I don't think when he was like, they're like, you own Sloan Limited, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I've never worked a day in my life. That shit was hilarious. I just think, I think he's shady, absolutely. But I think he's more of a, like, grifter type. Maybe he killed his uncle, but I think maybe that's what we're supposed to think, but I think it was her because of the argument they had. So yeah, I think the arrest was real. I don't think it was a setup for, like, Kate's benefit. I think, and I think the reason he went along with it, again, because he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is a misunderstanding.
Maybe he didn't know shit about anything.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
He's clueless about everything. He's just a goofy.
I think he might, and what's the worst that we've seen him do? Steal that sword?
Yeah, participate in an underground auction.
Well, that's rich white
which means
man
he
shit.
didn't kill the uncle. That she actually killed the uncle.
Right, that's what I think. And at worst, I think maybe he did kill the uncle, but why?
For money.
But, like, he has money. He has her money. He was
right?
But
he did talk about in that dinner party, about getting an inheritance. Because remember, Uncle says, you don't have money to buy that sword.
Right.
He goes, well, I will soon with it.
Well, I will say, at worst, I think maybe he did do that, but I don't think I don't think the whole Sloane LT. Yeah, she totally set him up for that.
Right.
He is
I
not.
love that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she's gonna have to like work against her mom.
And that's going to be her, I think, unfortunately, like her grow up moment, right? Like, that this isn't like, it's like all fun and games kind of when she thinks she's putting away Jack, who she didn't like anyway. But the fact that it's her mom, yeah,
And I like
she's going to stop being a bit reckless. And yeah.
I think like her mom, like Eleanor, it's fitting that she's working with Kingpin because Kingpin, like the same way that Kingpin felt in Daredevil, like obviously he's the villain of the show and he's not a good guy, but the way that he was presented and the way he was played by Vincent D'Onofrio, like he was sympathetic and he was a human character. He was, and they gave him that backstory where like you understand, like where he came from. And like, and it feels like, you know, I thought it's Vera Farmiga, right?
Yeah.
I thought she's done a good job of like, at least in the scenes with Kate, like being a mother.
Yeah.
Like she's not a horrible person. She's like, she's the mother of a daughter, like and treating her like and loving her and telling her she's great and all that shit.
Well, I mean, maybe they're going to do an okey doke and really the dad is still alive and, you know, he's the one doing this stuff like behind the scenes and she's aware of it. But if it is her, I still, like just her, I still have the theory that she killed him during that attack. Or again, maybe like something fell on him. And instead of helping, she was like, you know what? I'm just going to see how this play out.
She's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Right. You know what I mean? So, like, I haven't yet decided how dark I think they're going to take this character, you know? I think it would be kind of a cop-out, though, to have it be like the dad is still alive and he's been the one, you know?
I love
they're
it
in
more
this together, but
yeah.
And again, you know, it's Vera Farmiga, and I said from the beginning, you don't just hire her to be the mom.
Right.
Yeah. So finally, this big Batman moment with Clint, and then the reveal that he's the Ronin to Maya, but that he was tipped off, and it's obvious that it's Kazi, right? She starts to suspect it at the end, right?
Yeah, she starts questioning him. Why weren't you at the meeting, huh?
Right? You were in town.
What is this shit? Like...
She was like, nothing. Are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I'm sure. And I'm like, it's so something.
Right? It's like, you better leave, man. Like, you should get out of there.
Yeah. So that sets all of that up. And then apparently, I don't know if it's maybe inspired by the stuff Kate said about Clint. She decided to look into exactly who hired her to kill him. Right? Like, so she starts looking into that, and it leads her to Eleanor. So we see Yelena following Eleanor right to Kingpin. Who's this man with my mom?
It's the man I've been worried about this whole time.
Oh my God.
Good. And I love it because, like, you knew it was happening. Vincent D'Onofrio wasn't hiding it at all.
Yeah.
He was on Twitter. He was like, oh, good job, you guys, on that show. He's like, oh, man, y'all doing real good on that show. And it's like, I wonder why he's talking about this show. But it was amazing. Just seeing it, you know, obviously.
I'm going to check really quick for feedback. I don't remember if there is any.
The one thing I wanted really quickly is I love that they're taking on, we already kind of talked about it a little bit, like the Avenger privilege that all of the Avengers have, and obviously Clint in this series, where Yelena's like, what, you call him a hero just because of, like, no matter what he does, you just call him
right. Yeah.
And like, this feels like it was good. And like, that's like I mentioned, like, Clint agrees with that. It's so interesting that everybody else sees him. Anybody, whoever does see him, like even when he's in the beginning of that episode 4, when Eleanor is like, "Why is there an Avenger in my kitchen?" or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everybody who recognizes him as a hero, and except for him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting to like have him at that plaque talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Talking to Black Widow. And then you had Kate like in her room looking at all of her accomplishments and not feeling like a hero too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she was like, I did all this shit and I thought I was something, but nah, I guess I'm not, and then eventually they highlight the difference between the two of them is Clint doesn't think he's a hero and he doesn't come out of that. Kate doesn't think she's a hero, but then she wants to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want to wear a costume. He doesn't want to do any of that shit.
He's supposed to go home and make Christmas cookies with his kids.
Right? And like, I want that for him.
Me too, because I hear his knees popping. I hear you. I hear you, Clint. I'm there with you.
When he takes his hearing aid out, when he sits in that chair and then he starts thinking about everything, when they cut the sound, it was one of those things where like you don't even realize there's sound in the scene until he takes his hearing aid out and then it goes completely silent and you're like, oh shit, like, it was good.
Yeah,
he did, like, even like, because he does the same thing when he goes to talk to Natasha. He pulls it out and then it gets all quiet.
Yeah,
at the moment.
And I think a lot of people were expecting Yelena to just bash his head right. He can't hear her coming.
I expected somebody to be like, "Is that dude talking to himself? Wait, shit, is that Clint? Is that Hawkeye?"
Right.
Okay, take a picture. Yeah. So
Hawkeye's losing it, man. He's just talking to himself on the street.
So I think the feedback that we have, I'm going to read on the finale podcast because it looks a bit long. And I know Donnie has to go to work. Yeah, I'm super excited for this finale. I'm curious to see how Laura plays into this, if at all. Who the watch belongs to. What the fuck is going on with Kingpin? What else? How does Maya get her own show?
Yeah, like, what's Yelena? Is Yelena going to do something?
Well, yeah, right? Like, what's... I don't know.
I'll tell you, that's the thing is, like, I didn't watch these until today. And so, like, when I finished watching these, I was mad.
Because you don't have the next one.
There's one left. Give it to me.
Right. Yeah. But it's interesting because, really quickly, I just want to say, it's interesting that, I think we all assumed that she was coming there to kill him based on what Valentina told her. But it seems like Eleanor had to hire her. So what happened with Valentina? Like, did she tell her to go fuck off? Did she just start investigating Clint on her own? Like, you know what I mean? I'm curious how that came about.
At the end of this.
Yeah.
I don't think, in the finale, though, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of Kingpin. Because I don't think this Kingpin's not really... He's involved, but I think he's going to be more of the Echo show than he would this.
Yeah, because right now it seems like...
The mother's the real villain right now.
No, I don't know about that, though, because... you have Clint saying, this is the person I've been worried about this whole time. So I don't know.
The real villain is your past.
It's that watch.
Time.
Oh my God, that's so true. It's on your cracking knees. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We are adding Station 11. Right, Donnie? It has come requested, and I think the Silent Sea, but they're not yet on the schedule because I have to actually sit down and take a look and see like how many episodes and when they drop and all of that. And I feel like there's something else. The Witcher, right? So, The Witcher season 2 dropped, and we are going to be covering that like 2 episodes at a time. But we're not starting until next week because Christmas and all that stuff. So I'll get a feedback post up for that. Okay. But anyway, check the schedule. Lots of good stuff. New episodes almost every day. If you are not yet a premium subscriber, you can become one by going to patreon.com/podcastfandom. All right, that's it. Good night. See you guys later this week for the finale.